guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome back to another off-season video. Guess what happened, guys? Carson Wentz just got traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to give you my reaction to the trade. From an NFL standpoint, obviously everyone wants to talk about what did they pay for him? Did they pay too much? Did they pay too little? Is it a good fit? Is it not a good fit? I'm more concerned with the fantasy impact of it. Obviously during the season, we're more concerned with the week-to-week price versus output for daily fantasy, but in the offseason I kind of shift more into best ball mode and we talk about ADPs and where the values are and what to expect from certain players. So I'm going to be taking a look at this through the fantasy lens. I'm going to look at what happened. We're going to take a big overarching view of is it a better situation in Indy than it was in Philly, what we can expect from Carson Wentz, what we saw last year from Carson Wentz, or the last 3 years from Carson Wentz, and is he cooked? Or can he cook in 2021? So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave a reply down below, click on my other socials. If you click show more in the description, just click the things that you guys know how to click. And let's get right to the video. So everything kind of started. Adam Schefter at 8:45 a.m. Pacific time this morning tweeted that Philadelphia has agreed to trade Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for a 2021 third-round pick and a conditional 2022 second-round pick that could turn into a first. We got the details of what would cause it to turn into a first in a little bit, a few minutes later. If his playtime is at or above 75% next season, the conditional 2022 second-round pick would become a first-round pick. The second round pick also could become a first if Wentz plays at least 70% of the plays and the Colts go to the playoffs. So unless Wentz gets hurt and misses half the season, if he's just healthy, it's a first round pick. So it's essentially a 2022 first and a 2023 second, which, to be honest with you, why not take that risk if you're the Indianapolis Colts? You have Frank Reich as the head coach. You have his not the offensive coordinator, but his favorite other coach is the quarterbacks coach there in Indy. So you've got a really good, comfortable situation to bring in Carson Wentz into. Everybody's going to complain about his contract. What about his contract? He's got this massive contract. Yeah, but it was a massive contract because of the $16 million signing bonus. And yeah, there's roster bonuses and everything else, his base salaries in here, but his average salary for the next 4 seasons that he's under contract, 25.4, 22, 25, 26. In comparison, again, this is the NFL version of it, right? If you look at the entire contract, he had a $32 million average per year, but right now, looking at what is left on this contract, it's 24.5, 25 million per year. Last season, the Colts paid $25 million for Phil Rivers. So this is kind of what they have allocated to pay for their quarterback. With the salary cap rising, that's not a big deal. Patrick Mahomes, $45 million a year. And worth it. Deshaun Watson, 39. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He's in that 16 to 20 range for quarterbacks. So you're really not paying all that much. You're paying a middling salary. And if you look at the guys who have gotten their extensions, you're paying on the low end. Teddy Bridgewater made $21 million last year. Alex Smith is making 23.5, right? So you're paying on the low end for your quarterback. Now, granted, yeah, there's quarterbacks below, but these are guys on their rookie scale deals. Darnold, Tua tags, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow. This is why getting these quarterbacks on rookie scale contracts is so valuable for the first 4 years of their career, because you get such a low number that you can pay up elsewhere. But once you get guys on their second contract, this average cost over the entire contract is coming way down because of what's remaining on it for the Colts. So it's kind of a good deal. And you look at what they have in terms of cap space, $68 million. Yeah, they can afford it. So it's not like it's going to overstretch them or put them in a bad situation versus the cap. So from a football standpoint, this is just fine. And if Frank Reich believes that, look, I can get out of Carson Wentz, maybe not what he got out of him in 2017, when they won the Super Bowl, he got hurt late in the season. He was an MVP candidate, 33 touchdowns and what do you have, 5 interceptions? He was extremely efficient that season. Sure. What does he have to work with in Indy? Well, let's take a look first at the line that's playing in front of him. Final 2020 offensive line rankings. Now, yes, somebody did their tackle retired from the Colts, so like they're going to have to replace that. But again, free agency starts soon, the draft starts soon, and there's definite come-ups to be made, and they have the cap space to find players in free agency to replace them. So let's look at who the best offensive lines were, or where the better situation is for Carson Wentz in regards to just this. So the Indianapolis Colts, the 7th rated by PFF offensive line in football in a down year. They returned the best offensive lineman in the game at guard, Quentin Nelson. He is just ridiculously good. And they are going to basically give Wentz a chance to be successful. Well, how does that compare to the Eagles? You know, the Eagles have a good line. They had a good line before when he was really good. Last year, they were the 19th rated offensive line out of 32. So a subpar offensive line, below average. And so he steps into a better offensive line situation. We've already detailed how it may be a much better offensive situation. Let's see what Phillip Rivers did behind that line last year. 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, threw for 41.69. Nice. Good job, Phil. A player grade of 77.2, a passing grade of 75.6. Well, what did Carson Wentz do last year on Philly? An overall grade of 65 and a passing grade of 60. So playing behind that offensive line is going to matter to him. And then you look at what their, let's take a look at the grades here on PFF and look at what these teams were. If you look at the receiving grade that the team got, right? This is a 2020 regular season based on, these are the premium stats. Don't tell anybody this is paywalled stuff. Just between, it's just you and me. Okay. Just don't tell. Shh. Don't tell anybody. The Indianapolis Colts last year in the middle, right? In terms of their receiving grade as a team, this encompasses their pass catchers, wide receivers, tight ends, and backs, right? So you look at all the guys that they had last year. Hilton, I know that he might not be back, but like they have the money to replace him. And if you're going to invest in a quarterback for multiple years, you're going to put weapons around him, both through free agency and the draft. Hines, Pascal, Pittman Jr., who should come into his own over the next couple of years. I like him as a prospect. I think he's going to be a good NFL receiver. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro or Hall of Famer or anything like that, but like players do improve from their first to their second years. They have solid play at tight end between Doyle and Cox and Burton. Taylor did a much better job in the receiving game than most people were giving him credit for coming into his rookie year, catching 36 of 38 balls that were thrown his way. And I do think that they're going to spend a little bit of money in terms of that. So looking at the team grades, yeah, last year for receiving via PFF, the 16th, right in the middle, not showing off, not falling behind. But when you consider that you can't even see how bad the Eagles were because they're behind me, I have to turn off my camera to show you that the Philadelphia Eagles were the worst team in the league. Worst period receiving core period in the league, period. So it's certainly an upgrade in terms of who he's going to be throwing the ball to. So an upgrade in terms of coaching staff, an upgrade in terms of offensive line, and an upgrade in terms of his receiving core. So all good things pointing for Carson Wentz in 2021. And I know that there's going to be the argument from people that Wentz looked bad last year and maybe looked bad for the last 2-3 years. He can't stay healthy. Health is important. Obviously, health is important for everybody because it's the NFL. I'm concerned with the fantasy outlook on this. So let's take a look at the everyday updated ADPs. And you may not be drafting. It's February the 18th when I'm recording this video. You may not be doing fantasy drafts, but there are people doing fantasy drafts for money. And these are the ADPs that get updated every single day. So these are very accurate and somewhat sharp on Underdog Fantasy. If you look at where Wentz is being drafted right now, QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He's being drafted as a QB3. The QB 25 off the board with an ADP currently of 170.3. I do believe that based on the new situation and the trade, now that we have that fixed and we know where he is and we know what weapons are there, that this ADP is going to climb. Not that you're drafting right now and you need to go out and snatch him up. But I think it's going to climb right kind of behind Daniel Jones, right here in this round, the 150 range, right? He'll move up into a back-end QB2, very low risk. But the upside here, if you're drafting best ball leagues, and I do think that if you're the type of person that likes doing mock drafts, and judging by YouTube numbers out there, people love watching mock drafts. Don't mock draft, right? Mock drafts are like, they're so 1998. It's 2021. Any best ball draft that you do, a $1 sit and go best ball draft, is already better than any mock draft results that you get if you're trying to prepare yourself for learning what you need to learn for your real fantasy leagues later on, because you're not going to be drafting against lists. A mock draft, after 2-3 rounds, you're drafting against 8 people who are just picking off of the list on the site. A $1 mock draft or a $1 best ball draft, you're drafting against people who are going to draft very seriously for 18 rounds. So you're going to get much better results for yourself and learn a lot more. So stacking in terms of best ball drafts, where you're going to be picking, you know, if you want to go with Colts as your secondary stack, if the Colts happen to have a really good offense, what if Wentz throws for 4,300 yards and 29 touchdowns this year? And you have his 2 best receivers, Wentz, that you're going to be getting in what, the 12th, 13th round, sometimes 14th rounds currently. And you have the majority of the share of that pass game offense, you're going to do very well. So Wentz is a QB2, QB3 stacking option right now that I think has some upside, should move up a round or 2 in terms of his ADP. I'm not saying he's going to be an MVP candidate next year. Far from it. I do think he's going to be in the mix for most improved player. I think the situation is vastly improved from where it was on the Eagles. And I expect Carson Wentz to possibly see a career rebound, maybe not as distinct as somebody like Ryan Tannehill, but I think that, at least for argument's sake, he's in that same boat where when the Miami Dolphins got rid of Ryan Tannehill, it was, wow, Tannehill's cooked. He's done. He's never going to be good in this league. And now, in a different situation with a different offense that's more suited to his skill set, with a much better offensive coach and better tools around him, we've seen Ryan Tannehill put up very good fantasy years and very good real-life NFL years. I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is going to see the same exact rebound after his past 3 seasons as Ryan Tannehill and become one of the top 5 or 10 QBs in the league. But he's not being paid like one of the top 5 QBs in the league for the next 4 years. And he's not being drafted like one of the top 5 QBs in the league for this year in 2021. So the profit and the upside for the price, if you're going with a late round QB, are certainly there. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.